to take only half damage. You can take no damage if you succeed, or half damage if you fail.
If you can use uncanny dodge just to take half damage from an attack, then why would you be busy sneak attacking?
Yeah, I'd use my reaction for an uncanny dodge.
I would rather use my reaction to take half damage than to deal damage.
Right. A little bit more about some One D&D material. We were talking about bards on the last episode. There are also rangers, but we are going to go out of order because it seems like everybody who's going over this is doing it bard, ranger, and then rogue, and we want to be different.
That's just alphabetical order, Nathan.
Yes, it is.
What is this chaos we are doing?
We are chaos, and that's actually why we're going to be talking about the rogue today, because I think that exemplifies chaos, doesn't it? Rogues usually do.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
It feels very roguish to, like, jump in front of the ranger in the conversation.
Yes, right until the arrow he's shooting goes into your back.
But then the rogue turns around and just stabs you really fast. Anyway.
Yeah, but they don't get sneak attack then.
This is true. I have played rogues for a couple characters, but I've never actually played them as a campaign character. They've always been one-shots. So my understanding of the ins and outs of rogues is pretty much that backstabbing is a thing.
It is.
So there's that. You played one, but it was also a one-shot, I believe.
Yeah, I haven't played one since.
Yeah. So our understanding of rogues in 5e, at least, is pretty limited, just because we haven't really dug into it. But in general, rogues are the ones that kind of do the sneaky through the shadowy kind of stuff, and are usually the ones that mastermind. There's actually a mastermind subclass. They're the thieves. They're the criminals sometimes. Sometimes they are just the grifters or the con artists or
the Robin Hoods.
Or the Robin Hoods, exactly. I think rangers could also be a Robin Hood. We'll get into that.
Yeah, but, that's just because they're good at the most. Anyways.
Fair enough. But all you really need to know is that rogues are going to also be in the expertise class, as the One D&D material shows. I think out of the three of these classes, though, the rogues have probably changed the least, and it's mostly about moving some of their skills around. So, for instance, subclass features coming at, like, level 6 instead of 9, expertise at level 7 instead of 6, evasion is 9 instead of 7. They're moving a lot of these basic ideas around. In terms of just some of the basics, I looked through what some other people were saying to be completely transparent, just because, having not been familiar with Rogue myself, I was wondering what people were citing from previous stuff to now. One thing that was mentioned, though, was about sneak attacks, which is a defining feature of rogues. That there's a little bit of a subtlety. There's a little bit of a subtlety that was mentioned by one Reddit poster, which is that it's on once on each of your turns. Which the subtlety there is that you wouldn't be able to use sneak attack damage as a reaction anymore. The thing about it is, though, I never remember ever seeing a case where it was used as a reaction.
So, the argument there that I saw, because it came up as somebody had posted on Twitter, don't remember who, was that they could use their sneak attacks as an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Because technically, if you're catching them flat-footed or if they're flanked, then yes, but it's one of those weird things where you probably aren't getting attacks of opportunity that often.
Right.
And,
it's so situational, I don't really see where it's going to be a huge problem. One way or another. I mean, if you wanted to utilize it in the way of, like, an attack of opportunity, I think it's just that if it's on your turn, then the assumption is that it's just not utilized as a reaction. But
I think the other one was if you like hold your action for an attack, as an example, in that you might not be able to use it as a held action.
Okay.
What's the wording for it say now?
Well, let me see if I can tell you what we're doing here. So, sneak attack. Here's the actual wording in 1D&D, the actual wording in the material. First level. You know how to turn a subtle attack into a deadly one. Once on each of your turns, when you take the attack action, you can deal extra damage to one creature you hit with an attack roll if you're attacking with a finesse weapon or a ranged weapon, and if at least one of the following requirements is met. The two requirements. Either you have advantage on the attack roll, or at least one of your allies within 5 feet of the target, the ally isn't incapacitated, and you don't have disadvantage on the attack roll. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6s equal to half your rogue level, round up, and add the dice together. The extra damages type is the same as the weapons damage type.
So, I think the thing there is where they had changed sneak attack in 5e anyways to be like, if you're flanking, if someone's within 5 feet,
It's basically flanking, yeah.
you basically get a sneak attack as long as someone else is in combat
Yes.
with this whatever. So I don't really see what the big deal is if you can't use it on somebody else's turn.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. Like, I mean, it's still... If you would get attack of opportunity anyway, you just wouldn't get sneak damage, I think, on attack of opportunity.
And I think if you're playing with a DM or doing something where you're going to be getting attacks of opportunity that often, then they, those creatures may deserve the sneak attack then, I guess, but...
the thing about it is that I could see, if you wanted to, like, if you had met both conditions... Like, if you were both in advantage and you had an ally that was adjacent to the target, that it would make sense as like an attack of opportunity that you get the sneak damage, because you've reached two different criteria to get there. But, the thing about it is sneak attack gets to be kind of insane in terms of the damage output of it, that I'm like, I don't think that that's a huge deal for me. I don't like rogues when sneak attack comes into play end up doing so much more damage than most other melee combatants. And if they're an expert class instead of like one of the military classes, like the hitters, I don't think we need to make them any more powerful or give them even more hit dice.
Obviously, I think if you're doing a held action, I feel like that your turn is delayed, so you would be able to use sneak attack as a held action.
Yeah.
Because you're delaying your turn to meet a certain criteria, and if that criteria is met and you go for the attack, I would say that's your turn as a DM, so you get that sneak attack, you held your action, that's it. But like attack of opportunity, it's whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to consider that to be a huge issue, but there is one thing, like, a lot of these are very standard. I think that it was just that the rogue worked pretty well in 5e, so they didn't feel the need to do too much. Just tweak where different things occur, different levels. Like, for instance, Uncanny Dodge is still there, Evasion is still there, which are great abilities for those of you who are not aware. Uncanny Dodge is basically, you can use reaction to have an attack's damage against you. Evasion is when you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage. You can take no damage if you succeed, or half damage if you fail.
If you can use Uncanny Dodge just to take half damage from an attack, then why would you be busy sneak attacking?
Yeah, I'd use my reaction for an Uncanny Dodge.
I would rather use my reaction to take half damage than to deal damage.
Right. Subtle strikes. A 13th level ability. This is apparently new. When you attack, you know how to exploit a target's distraction. You have advantage on any attack roll that targets a creature that is within 5 feet of at least one of your allies who isn't incapacitated. Okay. So, at that point, you have advantage and you are flanking.
I mean, you don't need both, you only need to meet one.
Exactly. So, I don't really know how that's beneficial. You'd still be... If you're already in 5 feet, you'd still be getting your sneak attack. I mean, I guess the one thing is that you'd have advantage on the roll, so it's easier to hit.
Yeah, but don't you get advantage from flanking?
Do you? Apparently not. If they're specifically stating that you get advantage when you are there within 5 feet of another ally, then that suggests that by nature you do not have advantage when you're just flanking. That's
interesting.
That's
worth looking into, because as far as I remember, you got advantage if there's another ally within melee distance.
I was under an impression that is the case, especially if the enemy is focused on someone else that is attacking them.
Which I personally find a little weird, because it's like, yes, we're in multiple melee combat, and I'm getting advantage in all my rolls now.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, rogues are going to be able to hit a lot and hit pretty hard, so they end up becoming a very useful class, but they were already a useful class. Stroke of Luck comes in at level 18 instead of 20 because, as I kind of mentioned before, a lot of the level 20 abilities are going to be level 18s instead because you get epic boons at 20 now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still weird to me that the level cap is 20 and there's no epic levels, but it's whatever.
Most
campaigns don't really go past 20.
No. I did once see a thing like a supplemental book that was like a third-party one that were levels beyond 30 or 20, like up to level 50. There's
stuff for that. It doesn't. If you are doing a campaign that's going up to levels beyond 20, you're fighting literal gods.
Yeah, and I have to ask what kind of spells you're throwing off by the time you get there.
Quickened 9th level spells.
Quickened 9th level spells, because, like, 10th level spells, if I remember correctly, the reason why no characters are allowed to do it is 10th level spells are basically world-ending. Perfect. Let's just do that. So, the other thing is, apparently, rogues do not get blind sense. They used to have blind sense, but they do not have blind sense anymore. The one subclass that they mention is Thief, which is kind of the basic bitch of the rogues, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. So fast hands at 3rd level. You have additional options for bonus actions of your cunning actions, so you can search, sleight of hand, to make a dexterity check to pick a lock or disarm a trap, or to pick pockets. You can do those as bonus actions. 3rd level, you do second story work, which is kind of cool, actually. You gain a climb speed equal to your speed, so you just climb as fast as you run.
Yeah, I think that was similar. They might have changed that slightly.
They might have. I know that Ranger, when we get into Ranger, has a similar feature at some point. Also, your jump distance. You can take a jump action. When you take a jump action, you can make a dexterity check instead of a strength check. Just a easy win for you. Supreme Sneak. You have advantage on every dexterity check you make, provided you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor. And then 10th level is using a magical device. So you've learned how to maximize use of magical items. And so you can actually attune up to 4 magic items at once. Which, if we're going to actually make magic items more useful or prominent in the world, would be great.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, because 5e is very magic light for items. You don't usually...
It is, and kind of meh.
Yeah. Also, charges. Whenever you use a magic item property that expends charges, you roll a d6, and on a roll of 6, you use the property without expending the charge.
There you go.
So there's that. You can also use spell scrolls that bear a cantrip or first level spell, and then on 14th level, you get Thieves' Reflexes. Thief's Reflexes. They made sure to make sure it was a thief. Plural. You can now take a second bonus action on your turn, provided it is a bonus action from Cunning Action. Okay. And you can use this feature a number of turns equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Basically, a lot of stuff to make rogues even roguier in the Thief class.
I'm going to steal from 3 different pockets.
3 different pockets. See, when I played a rogue, I did not play a thief. I played a scout. Percy was a scout.
I played an assassin.
You played an assassin? Assassins are usually considered one of the best subclasses.
Well, I was a multi-class assassin and shadow monk, so...
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like shadow monks. I played one of those. So, Rembrandt was a shadow monk. But anyway, Percy was a scout. Scouts are pretty well known for being able to move really fast. They move really fast across the battlefield. And he was a tabaxi. So between like cat agility, cat-like agility, and the scout's abilities to like use bonus actions and stuff to keep quickening, he could fly across the battlefield. I think I calculated like easily 180 feet in a turn for the one turn.
There you go.
Yeah. But
I mean, I could just jump through shadows.
Yes, Remy could do that too, which is always fun. But you have to be in shadow. That's the key.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's what you take minor image for.
Fair enough. The other one is that I played was an Inquisitive. That was Snowball. And Inquisitives are mostly just there to be even better skill monkeys for investigation. They're not really changing around a ton when it comes to rogues. It seems pretty similar to what you would have seen in 5e, just that they're moving around when you get certain things. And it looks like what they were trying to do with the One D&D material is that at every level you'll be getting something.
Right, that way you don't have empty levels that feel weird.
Like, level 1, you jump right in with, like, sneak attacks and thieves can't right away, and then cunning action at 2, and you get your subclass at 3, and, you get dodge at 5, which is good, I think, especially for newer players. That keeps them engaged, because there's always going to be, like, some new cool skill that you get. And also the changeover from a focus on ability score increases to feats, so that you might get a cool new feat periodically.
It's going to be interesting that they're bringing feats back, so...
Yeah, I mean, feats are very powerful the way that they've been presented. You'll still be able to do ability score increases, but the ability score increase is considered a feat. So you can take it still, but then again, when you start to see the feats, at one point we might go over them, you definitely want feats. Like, it seems like feats are definitely the thing you want. But yeah, anyway, are you interested in playing a rogue ever again?
Probably. It would have to depend on what the campaign is and what my idea for a character would be, so... Yeah.
I've played 2. I don't know if it's one that I'd want to go back to, only just because I think I like spellcasters now. But I'd consider it, just to see. I think I would need more archetypes for them to give me than the thief, though. I don't think I want to play a thief. But anyway, what do all of you think? If you have any ideas about some of the One D&D material, or something specific that you wanted to talk about, please let us know. Yes.
No, just...
Oh, okay.
Making finger gestures.
Making finger gestures. Please let us know in the comments down below.